Hello, my name is Joke Lanz. Thanks to Christoph and Vétomat. So I'm supposed to talk to you. I was born in 1965 in Basel, Switzerland, to a French mother and a Swiss father. In my younger years, I worked as a garbage man, a factory worker, sales assistant, caretaker, housekeeper, carpet dealer, chicken farmer, record shop owner, night watch, sauna assistant, roadie, secretary, cleaner, nude model, part-time single father, chocolate producer, bike messenger, just to name a few. As you can see, I had a lot of different part-time jobs in my younger years. After playing bass in a hardcore punk band during the late 80s, I decided to start my own music project called Sudden Infant. That was in 1988. It was the time when I worked at Recommended Records distribution in Zurich, together with Christoph Bringerli, amongst others, of course. We had quite an amazing time back then, trying to sell good music, underground music, independent music to record shops in Switzerland and retail customers. But yeah, well, this is a different story. As a young Swiss punk, I traveled many times to West Berlin during the 80s. Coming from Basel by night train, it was each time a fantastic adventure to cross the dark East German territory, including those young border police officers of the Volkspolizei with machine guns who were checking everybody's passports and luggage. Finally, arriving at Bahnhof Zoo, it was a revelation for me to breathe the air of this crazy island here within the communist system back in the 80s. I mostly stayed in a small and shabby hotel near Kudamm, just to drop off my bags and head immediately to the U1 subway to go to Kreuzberg. It was a complete different world from what I experienced so far in well-structured Switzerland. No closing hours, no narrow-minded idiots, no expensive rents, no petite bourgeoisie, no lack of space, no mountains, no boredom. I immediately fell in love with Berlin. And I said to myself, one day I want to live in this city. My dream came true in 1998 when I packed up my belongings and moved to Berlin. Although the city had changed massively after the fall of the wall, it still remained fascinating and adventurous. After a short side trip to London for a few years, I returned to Berlin in 2006, where I'm still living to the present day. Cut up, slow down, speed up, run backwards, cut up, slow down, speed up, run backwards, cut up, slow down, speed up, run backwards, cut up, slow down, speed up, run backwards. The automatic female voice of the 179 BVG Berlin bus announces the next stop. Hundsteinweg. Hundsteinweg means dog stone alley. We got here a very nice dog. He's hiding at the moment.
No response.
As you know, there are many, many dogs here in Berlin. Here he comes. It's one of them. It's a beautiful, beautiful one, black and white. Statistically speaking, there are more than 105,000 dogs in this city. And these are only the registered dogs. I'm not talking about the immigrants. Sometimes they bite, sometimes they fight, sometimes they bark, sometimes they piss in the park. There are small dogs, big dogs, white dogs, black dogs, friendly dogs, unfriendly dogs, autistic dogs, three-legged dogs, four-legged dogs, French dogs, German dogs, English dogs, underdogs. Well, what is it like to be an underdog in Berlin? Since quite a long time, I'm aware that me and many of my friends, of my colleagues, artists, musicians, writers, are living on the fringe of society. We are hanging on a silk thread, just a small step away from homelessness, alcoholism, depression, loneliness, and isolation. Sometimes they bite, sometimes they fight, sometimes they bark, and sometimes they piss in the park. Heiner Müller used to say, optimism is just a lack of information. It's a good one, isn't it? Black teeth, big smile, drinking water from the Nile. One coin for salvation, multinational corporation, getting stranded at a Berlin subway station, atonal sound installation versus homeless human frustration. People, families, children, women, men, they all flee their homes because of war between countries, civil war, persecution of minority ethnic groups or religious groups or members of political organizations. People may be persecuted because they belong to a distinct social group, such as gay men or lesbian women. The number of people forced to flee their homes across the world has exceeded 50 million for the first time since the second. All right. Resist. 50 million for the first time since the Second World War. In ancient Egypt, the word for dog was we just heard it, which referenced the sound of their bark. Dogs were closely linked to the jackal dog god Anubis, the protector of the gates of the underworld, who guided the souls of the deceased to the hall of truth, where the soul would be judged by the god Osiris. During ancient times, all inhabitants of a house in Egypt were, where a cat has died a natural death, had to shave their eyebrows. And when a dog died, they even had to shave the whole body, including the head. I'm talking about the ancient pharaonic times in Egypt. That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, nowadays people shave parts of their body without any ritualistic reason, just for the sake of being fashionable or because they follow some kind of a strange trend. I don't know if you guys, people here, shave anything of your body, but I mean, it's individual. Everybody can do what you want, you know. It's when I was in Cairo 7 years ago for an artist residency, I developed an anti-intrusiveness system which protected me against invasive cheap jacks and racketeers. I simply humbled a deep and bassy tone while walking through the streets of Cairo. Imagine you walk your way and every 5 minutes someone walks next to you, asking where you're from and what you do in Egypt, and if you would like to buy something, or come for a cup of tea somewhere where they try to force you to buy touristic papyrus scrolls or expensive perfumes. There were not that many foreigners in Cairo right after the revolution. That was in 2012. It was the time when Mubarak was in prison and the Freedom and Justice Party of the Muslim Brotherhood was gaining power and pushed their candidate, Mohamed Morsi, to become president. It was pretty chaotic in the streets. Every foreigner was considered either to be an American journalist or an Israeli spy. Do you love Hitler? Asked me a young shop assistant at a Radio Shack store in downtown Cairo, where I wanted to buy some batteries. I stared at him in disbelief, what I've just heard out of his mouth. Do you love Hitler? Once again, with a smile on his face. He was wearing a white shirt with a black tie and a Radio Shack name badge. I tried to explain him that this is very impolite and absolutely politically incorrect. It's actually something you simply cannot ask. Well, but obviously, the young shop assistant and his mates didn't understand me at all. They were very amused about my confusion, and obviously, they really liked Hitler. Then I remembered that I'm in Cairo, Egypt, where you can buy an Arabic translation of Hitler's Mein Kampf in almost every bookshop. Totally confused, and with that question, do you love Hitler, in my head, I left the shop, in my hand a small plastic bag with 4 batteries in it. Israeli spy or human fly? Some weeks later, Self-Determination Friday in Cairo, I walked down Talat Harb towards Tahrir Square to join those hundreds of thousands protesters in their various demands for a free Egypt and the retreat of the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces. I don't know if anybody of you ever been into Cairo, but Cairo is a monster of a city. It's the loudest, noisiest city I've ever been in my life. It's absolutely insane. It's like a different planet. And it's only 4 hours by plane from here. It's incredible. You should go. It's a great experience. There was this large variety of different groups, like the Revolutionary Socialists, the Liberal April 6 movement, the Salafist supporters, the National Association for Change, the Muslim Brotherhood, Justice and Freedom Party. I met a young Egyptian activist who kindly accompanied me. Thank you very much. So there was a huge demonstration, thousands of people, and I met this young Egyptian activist who kindly accompanied me and explained me many interesting things about the current political landscape and their relations with Egyptian society. It was a beautiful day, and I absolutely enjoyed the colorful and peaceful crowd on Tahrir Square. And I had some nice talks with many Egyptian people, despite my few words in Arabic or their little knowledge in English language. Unfortunately, some very obscure and confusing news got to me later in the evening, when I was sitting on a rooftop bar in Cairo, having a cold Stella beer. Stella is the Egyptian brand for beer. It's the same name like the Belgian beer, but it's not the Belgian beer. It's the only beer you can drink in Egypt. It's okay. It's something like Heineken, but it's okay. Because, as you know, Egypt is a Muslim country. You cannot simply go somewhere and drink a beer or alcoholic drinks, because you really have to find these places. And they're mostly in hotels, mostly like rooftop bars. So there's not that many in Cairo. All right, so I was there having a cold Stella, and then I got this phone call. Egyptian friends called me saying that they received the news that I got beaten up on Tahrir Square. And there would be even a video on the internet which accuses me of being a potential Israeli spy. And believe it or not, all because of a narrow-minded and paranoid journalist who spotted my tattooed pentagram star on my neck while I was walking inside this big demonstration to Tahrir Square. So they filmed me from the back, the camera, and it was not just a private person. It was like a TV station from a conservative party in Egypt. So they, of course, immediately felt like I'm an Israeli spy. And obviously, this person didn't know the difference between a 5-pointed star, which is even found on many national flags like Morocco, Algeria, China, etc., and the 6-pointed Star of David. Anyway, I didn't feel like explaining myself. The story is just too ridiculous, and the fact that I was followed and filmed without any clear evidence is almost bordering on evil and massive stupidity. The video clip is still on YouTube and has reached 59,534 clicks to the present day. By far my most popular video clip. Well, I'm a human fly. It's spelled F-L-Y. I say buzz, 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 and it's just because I'm a human fly, and I don't know why. I got 96 tears in my 96 eyes. I got a garbage brain. It's driving me insane. And I don't like your ride, so push that pesticide. And baby, I won't care, cause baby, I don't scare, cause I'm a reborn maggot using germ warfare. To understand the world, I have to be a hooligan. I have to be a child. I have to be a soldier. I have to be a Muslim. I have to be a consumer. I have to be a prostitute. I have to be a priest. I have to be a revolutionary. I have to be a pensioner. I have to be a Buddhist. I have to be a banker. I have to be a pop star. I have to be an asshole. I have to be an artist. I have to be a refugee. I have to be a Jew. I have to be a politician. I have to be a pilot. I have to be a policeman.
I have to be a journalist. I have to be a homeless. I have to be a millionaire. I have to be a dentist. I have to be a cyclist. I have to be a bodybuilder. I have to be a DJ. I have to be a garbage man. I have to be a physician. I have to be a mother. I have to be a gangster. I have to be a parliamentarian. I have to be a football player. I have to be an astronaut. I have to be a factory worker. I have to be a babysitter. I have to be a surgeon. I have to be a teenager. Mother, where is my Sid Vicious t-shirt? Mother, did you go inside my room? Mother, why did you do that? Mother, where are my cigarettes? Mother, let me explain you my privacy. Mother, why did you wash my trousers? Mother, where are my punk records? Mother, why can't you just leave me alone? Mother, I'm old enough to decide. Mother, don't clean up my room. Mother, did you remove my drawings? Mother, I told you not to touch my personal stuff. Mother, why do you do this? Mother, it's not my fault that I don't have a brother. Mother, this is my room. Mother, get out. Mother, I do what I want. Mother, leave me alone. Mother, leave me alone. Well, you can see my relation to my mom was not the easiest one. My father committed suicide when I was 13. He killed himself with a Swiss Army rifle STGW-57, manufactured by the Schweizerische Industriegesellschaft SIG. SIG. A weapon that is considered to be personal equipment of the soldier in Switzerland and required to keep at home until the end of the military service. I was sitting at the doctor's waiting room just opposite of our apartment block when I heard the gunshot. A man is walking up the stairs. A man is walking up the stairs. First floor, second floor, third floor. He's holding a rifle in his hand. Fourth floor, fifth floor. That's where his apartment is. Sixth floor, he's walking up the rooftop of his house. Seventh floor, he's still holding that rifle in his hand. Eighth floor, ninth floor, 10th floor, 11th floor, 12th floor, 13th floor. He opens the door to the rooftop. Now he can see the sky. And now he can see the birds. And he can see the cranes, and he can see the clouds. And he can see the angels now. Yes. The baby screams. The baby screams. It screams almost the way I screamed yesterday. A call, a distorted, pressed out whining, a litany of gargling and rasping sounds. It wants to scream louder. It wants to scream longer. It wants to scream like it never screamed before, and it does not want to stop screaming. The baby sits next to me on the plane from Dublin to Berlin. But the baby also sits inside of me, where it always was. I believe it is absolutely essential to constantly reshape, grind and erode thoughts like stones in the river. Again and again, every opportunity should be taken to bring people, opinions, monsters and moments together. Even if the pain of our own existence is omnipresent and cannot be forgotten in the community, consolidation is essential. Yes, nudism was very popular in East Germany. In 1982, there were 40 official nudist beaches in East Germany around lakes and on the coast of the Baltic Sea. Did you know that? Would you consider experimental music as something serious? Music in general should be extreme, with a good dose of humor. Everything else is like a chewing gum without taste. Personally, I'm mostly amazed by the individuals. All right.
There are no individuals in this room.
Yeah. One moment. Individuals. I'm sorry, I have a mess here with my papers, but I'll try to sort it out. All right, here we go. Personally, I'm mostly amazed by the individuals and not necessarily by their music or art. It's always a different thing if you talk to somebody personally than if you experience their output of creativity, which is also interesting. But it's a difference when you, after a death metal show or a black metal show or a whatever breakcore thing, you go to that person and you talk to that person. So that's the point that interests me. I've met amazing artists and human beings in the past 30 years. Some of them became very close friends of mine. And when we meet, we talk about cooking recipes, health food, black and white films, bicycle trips, relationship problems, future plans, wellness holidays, football, afflictions of old age, political directions, postmodern trends, etc., etc. We talk about almost anything, but we do not talk about music. It's interesting, isn't it? And things in life have to change, especially in Berlin. Things always have to be destroyed here in order to create new ideas, new spaces, new energies, new beginnings. I'm almost done. Der Junge hat einen Kopf, das Mädchen hat einen Kopf, der Mann hat einen Kopf, die Frau hat einen Kopf, das Baby hat einen Kopf, die Taube hat einen Kopf, der Hund hat einen Kopf, die Katze hat einen Kopf, der Polizist hat einen Kopf, die Metzgerin hat einen Kopf, der Busfahrer hat einen Kopf, die Verkäuferin hat einen Kopf, der Nachbar hat einen Kopf, die Nachbarin hat einen Kopf, die Ameise hat einen Kopf, der Fisch hat einen Kopf, die Giraffe hat einen Kopf, das Nashorn hat einen Kopf. Alle haben einen Kopf. Die Dicken, die Dünnen, die Schwarzen, die Weißen, die Gelben, die Braunen, die Großen, die Kleinen, die Armen, die Reichen, die Bösen, die Traurigen, die Gesunden, die Kranken, die Blinden, die Stummen, die Haarigen, die Kahlen, die Lustigen, die Wütenden, die Beweglichen, die Gebrechlichen. Alle haben einen Kopf. Manchmal reden die Köpfe, manchmal rauchen die Köpfe, manchmal trinken die Köpfe, manchmal weinen die Köpfe, manchmal schlafen die Köpfe. Manchmal schreien die Köpfe, manchmal essen die Köpfe, manchmal nicken die Köpfe, manchmal schauen die Köpfe, manchmal singen die Köpfe, manchmal denken die Köpfe, manchmal husten die Köpfe, manchmal rülpsen die Köpfe, manchmal staunen die Köpfe, manchmal raunen die Köpfe, manchmal fluchen die Köpfe, manchmal lachen die Köpfe, manchmal rollen die Köpfe. Thank you.